Hello everyone and welcome to round 3 of the career mode series. It's James and Matt again.
Hey guys, how you going? We hope you enjoy this video today. We're really excited about this one, especially since we're going back to China.
Yep, indeed. We're currently 6th in the championship. So let's go to Q1 and see how we go.
Welcome to Shanghai, China, for what I've no doubt is going to be a fantastic F1 qualifying session.
Okay, so we'll flick through the car setup first. As you can see, we have 3 soft tyres and 1 set of mediums. 5.4 on the aeros. It's a pretty balanced setup here. Nothing too drastic.
Not going for that hardcore low downforce setting, are you there, Jim?
Nah, because through sector 2 and 3 here, there's so many long winding corners, you need the downforce.
Yep, that seems reasonable. And how do you feel going into this qualifying session?
Not too confident. I was off the pace in practice behind Carlos Sainz, but we'll see how we go. Race pace is always a different story.
Yep.
So we'll drive out then to save tyres. So we should start our lap on about 2% wear rather than 5.
Always good. Here we go, we're setting ourselves up for this first time lap of Q1 here for you. Get a good exit going out of the last corner and setting yourself up for those long, winding, never-ending turn 1 and 2.
So we'll try and run wide here on purpose just to open up turn 2 and feed the car in through here, hopefully hit the apex there. We missed the apex. It's a bit raggedy so far, but we'll see if we can recover.
Yeah, you went in a bit too early there into the second apex, but that's okay. It's only your first run, so we'll see how we get on with the rest of the lap.
Slight lock up there, but we get the car slowed down into the long left and right handers, which does remind you of Malaysia.
Yeah, it takes me back to Sepang. God, I miss Sepang. Shame it's no longer on the F1 calendar.
But it was a bit of a head scratcher though, because you'd have you'd have Sepang and then Shanghai after each other, and they're very similar.
Yeah, very similar characteristics with the two circuits. Both have long straights, both have long, sweeping, fast corners. Anyway, we're moving on to the final sector here of Shanghai, and this is really important to get the best possible exit coming out of here, because you've got a very long straight. Prior to Azerbaijan coming on in, this was the longest straight on the calendar. So it's all about getting on the power early, setting yourself up, hitting that max speed, and then finding that braking point for this very harsh hairpin.
Ooh, we drift the car through the hairpin there. A bit of a go-kart turn.
Yeah. That's okay, it's still just your first time lap. You kind of find your groove here.
Magnussen then hit a 133. What do we get? 134. So we're 0.546 off his time.
And that's not a great result, considering that you've been ahead of the Haas's for quite a bit so far this season.
Precisely. Look, if you're half a second behind a Haas driver, you're probably going to have to go out again.
Yeah, I would agree. Carlos doesn't seem to be having the best of time either. He's 0.2 ahead of you, but still struggling to really break in.
It is one of those circuits that you really have to get used to. You've got to dial back into this circuit. It's not like your Albert Parks where you can just rock up and then start posting decent lap times.
Standing by.
It's turn 1 and 2 that just takes practice.
Yep.
Every time I come back here.
Yep.
On the calendar.
Yep.
Food here is good though, in China.
Yeah? Big fan of the local cuisine?
Oh, love the dumplings.
Yep. Okay, so here we go. This is your third lap here in Q1, so you're really having to go for it here to try and secure that Q2 entry.
We're on fresh tyres as well. Can we hit the apex at this time? Just want to kiss the curb on the inside left. There it is. This is looking a lot better.
Yep, a lot nicer. Run a little bit wide on turn 2, but that's okay. You want to open the corner up as you apply the throttle and you get ready to go down this little straight here before you have this tight right-hander. And
that right-hander there is actually a bit harsher than a right angle. So you got to watch out for that.
Now we've got these sweeping corners here. You want to go in as fast as possible, but you've got to lift just a little bit, drop down a couple of gears so you can make it around the right-hand side, and then you've got to set up as soon as you can for this double left-hander.
So you missed the first apex there, and then you clip the curves on the left and right, and now we're getting ready for the complex section.
Yep. And
dig those front right tyres into this last corner. And on fresh tyres, you can plant the car here. You can plant that right foot down.
What I was going to say is you can notice that you lose a bit of time, you compromise a bit of speed going into the entry of that sweep, but that's okay because as long as you can straighten the car up sooner, it allows you to apply the throttle better and it gets you a better entry onto the straight. Going into the hairpin now, yeah, that looks okay. Just clip the curb to straighten the car up a little bit, get on the power nice and early. He's looking okay. Let's see how this final corner goes. Oh, and he's run wide.
That's ragged right there. We've actually benefited. That's 0.5 up from our last lap time, but I'm not sure if that'll stand.
Oh no, the stewards are going to have a look at that one because you did seem to gain quite a bit of time by leaving the track limits there.
We're looking pretty guilty there as well in the bottom left camera.
What was going through your mind here?
That was an accident, boys, I swear.
Not part of your usual repertoire?
No. I actually take pride in clean driving.
Well, you're going to have to explain this one to us here, Jim.
Okay, so we've been disallowed from posting a time in qualifying 2, so we'll have to start from 15th.
Wow.
Yeah. The stewards have gone, nah, not good enough.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We're here in the Yangtze River Delta today. Home
It's a very wide track, isn't it, Matt?
Oh, absolutely. I really enjoy Shanghai. Offers plenty of overtaking opportunities, plenty of close racing, technical parts as well as a bit of straight action as well. Gives you all the opportunities that you want. Really separates the men from the boys, I reckon.
It's not really one of those tracks that I look forward to coming to every year, but once you're here, it's good fun.
I see.
Starting grid for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, and...
So it's a lot more jumbled up than last week, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Compared to Bahrain, we saw it was 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, pretty much for the first half of the grid. Nice mix and match. Starting in P13, not P15, James.
Wow, so it appears that there's been some other penalties on the grid as well. So.
Yeah, I think I just saw Pierre Gasly there with a penalty. I didn't see the other driver. Yeah. And that advantage there goes for you. You get free choice of tyre for this race since you didn't progress to Q3. Starting on the mediums.
Yep, so we'll try and make those mediums last for a long time, and then we'll see if we can make one stop work.
And it's lights out, and away we go. Carlos Sainz gets away. You get blocked off by Sebastian Vettel. You have a Red Bull coming on the right-hand side of you. What are you going to do going to turn 1? It goes around the outside. Risky, bold maneuvers. Let's see how he goes.
So we're hanging it out the outside to dry. Let's see if we can rejoin the freeway here. Is there room? Yes, there is. I have the indicators on.
Well, I think you made room there, but you've gained 2 positions in the opening 2 corners. This is a great start from you. As you head down the straight with a Renault in front of you, we'll see. Are you going to make a dive bomb down the inside? Yes, you are. That's a move on Daniel Ricciardo, but it has not stuck. Took too much curb there, slowed the car down.
We have to be really careful around this track. We need an intact front wing, because if we lose an end plate or something like that, we'll really be penalised.
And it's a long pit lane here in Shanghai as well, so you really do feel the pinch of having to take an unnecessary pit stop.
That's exactly right. It's a long pit stop. It takes a lot of time to get through there.
And as we make it around the 2 left-handers, we see a Ferrari. Looks like Sebastian Vettel, he wants to make a move on Lance Stroll, I believe.
And they might career right into me as well. Lucky we didn't make contact there.
Yeah, though there was contact between the Racing Point and the Ferrari. Looks like Seb has got the better drive coming out of that corner. We're back on board with you now. It'll be interesting to see if Vettel can make an attack on you going into this long straight.
I can see that Vettel's behind us, and I've turned the engine right up. Who's that in the background there?
That is Lance Stroll, and he's looking to make a move there on Alex Albon as well as his teammate. He's sent it down the inside. He's definitely gotten past Perez, but it looks like Albon's come back and has got the better drive out of that.
Trying to pass 2 at once there, and Perez is saying, no, thank you very much, mate. This is my team. I'm the senior driver.
Wow, nice bite back there from Sergio Perez, though we've come to expect this. Just think back to the days of him and Ocon. Meanwhile, you got Sebastian Vettel down the inside.
He's peeking through the inside there, just having a peep, and he's staying around, actually.
Yeah, he's tried to run you out of road there, but you're going to get the inside for turn 2.
Oh,
a bit of contact. Oh, no.
On board with Vettel now. Who's that? That's Albon. He's come through and he's given me a love tap as well. He's slowed me right down. I'm disgusted in the bottom left corner, and that's going to put Vettel right in front of me as well.
Wow.
I'll have to duck behind him. Jeez. I've lost 2 positions in 2 corners.
You gained 2 in 2 corners, you lost 2 in 2 corners. Very ballsy by Alex Albon. Surprised that there's no damage between you and him. That's given Vettel the free room to go ahead and now chase down that Red Bull.
It was a bunch of tyre banking, really.
Oh, absolutely. Bumper car action, as Max Verstappen would say. We're on board, we're up and around with Kimi Raikkonen. He's got a Haas in front of him. That looks like...
Is it Magnussen? I think it's Grosjean, actually, number 8.
Yep. Going around the banking, it's a lovely view of this part of the circuit here. We've got the 2 Renaults, then we've got Albon, then Vettel, and then yourself. Kimi Raikkonen looks like he's definitely going to have a go at Romain Grosjean here. Goes down the inside. No DRS, but he does not need it. Sparks are flying. He's taking the inside line. And Grosjean's even giving him extra room. He made that look very easy.
And in the background there as well, the Renaults swap places too. We're going to be moving forward toward Vettel now, hopefully. But we have Gasly behind us on the soft tyre, so he's fast.
He's had a very good season so far. He's looking very neat and tidy. And if he's on the soft tyres, he's going to be coming on you very quickly.
So we'll try and keep it clean through turn 1 and 2 because Vettel's going to be getting held up by the Renaults there shortly. So that's going to work in our favour.
Meanwhile, Gasly is very much in your mirrors. He just wants to remind you he's there. Maybe even say hello as we go down into this next corner.
I don't think he'll have a go, will he? There he is.
Oh, there he is.
He's having a peek.
Audacious there by Pierre Gasly. I just don't think he was close enough to you to make that move stick. Then you blocked him off as you needed to.
Power from the engine is going to be down slightly and showing some minor wear.
Okay, so that's not what you want to hear as an F1 driver, that you'll have power shortages due to a worn engine in round 3 of the season.
Especially not here at Shanghai. It very much is a power-driven circuit.
Absolutely. As we have Albon having a go at Hulkenberg here.
He's just going to tuck in behind, and this is where the strategy comes into play. Do you make your move before the straight? Do you make your move down the straight or at the very end of the straight? Because it's there for a long time, and if you can get that draft, then you're going to be very quick and very hard to defend against.
So we're on board with Albon then, and he's got out of it for some reason.
Well, that's because we've got a Ferrari on the left-hand side. Sebastian Vettel is cutting his way through this field. Hulkenberg fights back, takes the inside line. However, Vettel looks like he'll get the better drive out of here and will claim that spot for himself. So
that's 2 places in 1 corner for Vettel right there. He's cutting his way through the field.
He's probably been given the indication that this is race critical right now. Alex Albon wants to have a move on Nico Hulkenberg. Very audacious if he was going to do it into these opening corners. He's just going to stay in nice and tight with him and line himself up for a move on turn 3.
As wide as this circuit is, there's not usually room for more than 2 drivers around turn 1 and 2.
Absolutely not. Just the transfer of the weight, and the cars just laterally move across way too much for there to go 2 abreast into those corners.
So then we have a bit of a 4-way battle here.
2 Renaults, a Ferrari and a Red Bull.
And it's working into my hands though, because I'm just behind them, just keeping in touch, saving the tyres.
Well, this is the thing, you're on the mediums, Alex Albon is on the soft tyres. His scrapping and battling amongst those other cars will make it more difficult for him as the laps go on. You run a bit wide there. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel on his old teammate, Daniel Ricciardo. He'll get the inside line. There's a bit of bumping there. It looks like Vettel might clinch this. He's made that move stick. Wasn't the cleanest move, but if it gets the job done, it gets the job done.
But Ricciardo might come back at him here. He'll have DRS.
Yes, he will. And he
sails through. As easy as you like.
Well, that is the power of the DRS on this long straight here in Shanghai. Vettel's just going to have to remind himself that maybe don't make a move before the straight.
We'll see what happens next time around, but he might get him before that. It's a long lap around this circuit.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities, especially with that Ferrari power unit. You can have the advantage. Vettel's got the DRS open. Is he going to send one down into turn 1? No, he's not. Staying there with Daniel Ricciardo for the time being. On board with him though as they go through these long, sweeping, never-ending corners.
There's a lot of work going into the steering wheel there in the turbulent air behind Ricciardo, isn't there?
Oh, I could just imagine it would be quite difficult, and Vettel would probably be a little frustrated. He needs to make these moves as soon as possible in order to have any chance of getting a good result today.
This is true. He has got the pace to be up there in the top 4. But he's stuck here battling Renaults. Not ideal for the Ferrari driver.
No, might be getting a bit hot under the collar there, and it does get pretty warm out here in Shanghai as well, so it's not the easiest race for the drivers physically either.
A lot of sustained G-force going through the body at this circuit. Well, it's pretty close going into Sector 3, so I presume he's going to have a go, as Raikkonen has gotten past Grosjean there.
Yeah, he's done very well there. Kimi Raikkonen showing once again that he's really up and about for this season, really pulling that Alpha as far up the grid as he can.
Geez, and there's a bit of damage on the side of Vettel's Ferrari there. He's been getting his elbows out today.
Ah, well, that might come back to haunt him, especially if he's on the medium tyres. Looks like he's making a move down Daniel Ricciardo this time as the straight is coming in. Nico Hülkenberg has got a great view of that, and he's now tucked in behind his Renault teammate.
Now, do you think there'll be any synchronised flying between the Renaults here?
I think it's a bit too early in the season to ask for that, and Hülkenberg wants to keep that seat, so I don't think he's willing to play the team game.
Fair enough.
You're losing a small amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
So then Gasly is still only 6/10 behind us, so he's not leaving us alone on those soft tyres. As in front of us we see Albon tucked up behind, is it Hülkenberg?
That would be Hülkenberg, yeah. And this four-way scrap that has continued for these past 2 laps now, again, just playing into your favour. The delta's going down a little bit. Maybe these medium tyres are starting to get up to temperature and can really work for you now.
Well, the car's getting lighter and lighter off fuel every lap, and I am getting closer to those cars in front, so we'll just bide our time for now. Ooh, as we battle some understeer there.
Yeah, it runs a bit wide, but that's okay. You've set yourself up for these 2 left-handers. Pierre Gasly is still there. He could always ask questions, plus a racing point behind him. There's plenty of action going on here at this Chinese Grand Prix.
It seems Alex Albon is spending too much time behind these Renaults, for me.
Yeah.
He's in a front-running car.
Yeah. That's not what he wants. It's a bit reminiscent of how Pierre Gasly was getting on in the Red Bull seat, but we'll stay on board.
True. Let's see what we can do this time round.
It's got the DRS, but so does the Renault. Both, we've got Renault versus Honda Power. That is Danny Rick, who does not have the DRS. He's been taken by his teammate, and Alex Albon's going to have a bite of this cherry right now as well. Gets the better drive. That makes sense. He's got the soft tyres. They're side by side going into the final corner, and Albon looks like he's made it stick. He's done very well. He has to keep going, though. He needs to plough through these Renaults.
So, Ricciardo then, the sacrificial lamb in that exchange.
Yeah, well, it's possible that the 2 Renault drivers did swap, whether that was by team orders or because of a good old Sebastian Vettel charge. I'm not sure, because Vettel is now away from this pack, I've noticed.
And essentially, I think we're within 1 second of the car in front now, so we could be in DRS zone come Sector 3.
Well, let's have a look at the sector split. It's a 1.2 second gap, but considering that there's 2 cars in front of Ricciardo, I reckon you could make up those 2 tenths and get within that DRS zone by the time you get ready for the straight.
I'll have to have a clean Sector 2 if I'm going to be gaining 2 tenths on him here. Let's see how we go.
Notice that Lance Stroll has actually gotten past Pierre Gasly at this point, but he's not too close to you. Sebastian Vettel, that looks like a move on Kimi Raikkonen.
On his former teammate.
Going down the outside, medium tyres versus soft tyres. Oh, a bit of
more
bumps.
Contact.
What's with the tyre bumping today? These guys are just absolutely raring to go.
Were they all teammates, or am I wrong there?
Oh, yeah, they were. They were.
At Ferrari.
At Ferrari, they had a great relationship, apparently, as Vettel puts it. Kimi doesn't talk much. I like that about him.
2 world champions there. Will he bite back? He's just not quite close enough, is he?
No. Vettel did well. He made that move probably at the most opportune time, and he can now pull away from his former teammate. But I think for Kimi, he just has to focus on maintaining these tyres before his next pit stop. Oh, speaking of, I think he's just dived in.
Yep, he's ducked into the pit lane.
Well, his tyres must have been going then, surely.
He was running on the soft tyres, so I would expect the other soft tyre runners. Yep, there they are. They're in the pit stops.
Yeah, that's Carlos Sainz. Now, wondering if he's going to see Kimi Raikkonen here. He's been held up. Yeah, it looks like he's been...
It's going to hurt.
Yeah, it looks like he's held up by Raikkonen. Meanwhile...
As Hamilton comes out on the hard tyre, so he won't have to pit stop again. And there's Leclerc behind him as well, followed by Valtteri Bottas. Oh no, is that Max Verstappen?
It must be Verstappen. It'll be
Where's Bottas?
I don't know. We haven't had any picture of Valtteri Bottas so far, so it'll be interesting to see how he's come in.
Ooh, there's some traffic in front of Hamilton there, but they're all on the same lap, so
Yeah.
there's no blue flags.
They're going to be racing for position. This will frustrate Hamilton because it just brings him ever closer to Charles Leclerc. Antonio Giovinazzi, potentially a sacrificial lamb to get Leclerc past Hamilton.
You never know.
Well, there are close ties between Alfa Romeo and Ferrari. It'll be interesting to see if there's some cross-team chat there.
Giovinazzi is the Italian as well, the only Italian out there.
Yeah, for a long time as well. Hamilton has breezed past him before the DRS detection zone, so he gets DRS to defend himself against Giovinazzi. He'll be very happy with that. But what about Charles Leclerc? Where is he?
We'll find out, hopefully get another camera angle, and he's taken him as well, so he's not wasting any time behind the semi-back markers.
No, the young Monegasque really wants to stay in touch with Hamilton.
That's put you in 5th, P5.
Well, he had a win last week, didn't he, Leclerc?
Yeah, and look at this. He's going to make a move on Lewis Hamilton to turn 1. He's got it so far.
I love that. Apparently there is room for 2 around turn 1
Oh.
as they encounter some unwanted traffic.
Oh,
That would be very turbulent air right there.
Oh.
Very dirty.
very nasty. And it looks like that's worked out into Hamilton's favour as he's
Oh,
gotten
he's
the
taking
lead
it
back.
back. It's getting raggedy out there, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it really is, and they've got to watch out for these other drivers because they're all jostling for position as well. So if they're not too careful, there can be some contact, some damage, and that could ruin either of these front runners' races here.
It really feels like a track day at Nordschleife with different classes of cars out there, and you just want the Ferraris to get through scot-free.
Yeah,
It's not going to happen today.
No, absolutely not. These
No.
other drivers, they're competitors as well.
Oh, he's stuck behind that racing point. Hamilton will be praying that that racing point pits this lap.
Yeah, meanwhile, Charles Leclerc will be praying that that racing point stays out for as long as
Oh, he
possible.
ducks left and right. The shake and bake. Can he make it around the outside?
Hamilton's
Big
locked
lock
up.
from Hamilton.
Bumps between
Oh!
Leclerc and the racing point.
Leclerc's taken 2 in 1 into the complex. That's great driving. And Giovinazzi's just like, yep, cool boys, I'm here.
I'm just going to stay behind everyone, see if I can get some drag. What's he going to do here? Opens up the DRS. He's making a move on Lewis Hamilton. Ferrari versus Mercedes power. That racing point has gotten ahead of Hamilton as well. Yeah, very late braking, but he needed to do that in order to get past Giovinazzi and to potentially get past the racing point. Has he done it?
Side.
Yes, but in the end there's a bit of yielding there. But the net result of all of this is that Charles Leclerc will have the lead on merit once everyone else comes into the pits. However, that's Sergio Perez, and he wants an absolute dip at Lewis Hamilton.
You're absolutely dreaming, Sergio, on the older tyres as well.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. Just head down. Focus on your own race.
Yeah, but he did secure a sneaky podium last time out, and
Yeah.
maybe he can sense some blood in the water as we don't know where Valtteri Bottas is. He must be on a different strategy or something must have happened to him.
Or he's just out front. You never know.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we don't have the timings directly in front of us, but we're going to stay on with Sergio Perez and with the rest of this pack. So much going on here at this Chinese Grand Prix.
It looks like Perez has some damage on his front wing as well. No front right end plate. So he must have had some contact.
I think that was with Leclerc, so maybe that jostling with Leclerc there might have done the damage. I wonder if Leclerc's copped anything on his front wing as well. He's still in front of Hamilton, doesn't seem to be slowing down.
So we haven't pit stopped yet. So we're currently in 4th place. We've got the leaders behind us. Oh, and there you go. Valtteri Bottas on the hard tyres, it says there on the top left corner. So he must be in 1st place.
Okay. Well, we haven't seen him, maybe just because he's been running away with it.
Bottas behind. The gap to the car behind is 1.2 seconds. They're on fresh hards. Their tyres are 1 lap old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 55.9.
I'm on the mediums and they're 33% warm, which is not too bad actually.
Yeah, no, I think you've managed the tyres okay, considering all the chaos that's been ensuing around you. But yes, you do have a Mercedes behind you, and Valtteri 3, 4.0, 5.0, who knows? It depends on what pair of pants he wears today.
Well, he had a win in Albert Park, didn't he, Valtteri Bottas?
Yeah, he did. So he's had a decent start to the season. You've run a bit wide there, it looks like. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but I might give Bottas a chance to come at you. You still got these Renaults in front of you, though.
I'll be desperate to get past one of them before I get passed by Valtteri Bottas, and that's for sure.
Yeah, create a blocker car, always a good idea.
Yes, we wouldn't mind having a Renault man on the rear gun.
And if it's going to be anyone, it looks like it could be Hulkenberg, as he somehow found himself behind Daniel Ricciardo again. Must be a very interesting scrap between the two drivers.
We have to downshift to get that car turned around the corner. It looks as though we'll be in range of Hulkenberg though. We look like we're within 1 second. We'll see. We'll find out shortly. and we should be because we're only 0.7 behind right now, but the DRS line is coming now. There it is. I think we're in range.
Okay, but then the next question is going to be, does Bottas have the DRS on you potentially coming into the detection zone? And are you close enough to make Hulkenberg a blocker car? I'm not so sure.
Mind you though, we've just set a personal best sector 1 and 2, so I'm on a good lap.
Hate to cut you off there though, I can see Valtteri Bottas in the mirrors. It looks like he's making a dive down the inside.
There he is, so we leave some room for him because there's no use fighting. He's in a different race than us, unfortunately, it has to be said.
Yep.
Here's a replay.
Yep. Brakes nice and late, nice and smooth. You do allow the space there, and that's a fair call because you're not racing Bottas. Best to just get on with it yourself. Meanwhile, Bottas is coming back, and he's now made a move on Nico Hulkenberg into turn 1. He needs to plow through these other cars as quickly as he can to maintain his control over this race.
He just has so much more grip right now, you know, on the fresh hards versus the old mediums.
Yeah, the mediums are what, about 10 or 11 laps old by now. They would definitely start to feel the pinch. Stuck behind Daniel Ricciardo. I don't think he's going to be stuck there for too much longer though.
Will he bide his time or will he try and pass him in the circuit?
I think he would be okay to pass him before the straight. He's got the superior power unit, so he could potentially get away from Ricciardo. But we'll have to wait and see.
We're on board now. It looks like he's about to wait for the DRS zone. No point in doing it now because Ricciardo could just come right back at him, as we found out, we've said.
Yep. This is fair. I thought maybe he might have made a move beforehand, but he probably doesn't have to worry about it. It doesn't have to be too aggressive. These are the hard tyres. They need to last until the end of the race if it's a one-stop strategy. DRS hasn't even been activated yet. It's going on now, but he's already side by side with Daniel Ricciardo. As smooth as you like, as easy as you like. All he has to do is worry about the braking point now.
And he will breeze through there. And he has all the confidence under braking as well, so he can even brake late just to give Ricciardo some extra room.
Yeah, but he's done very well. Meanwhile, is this you?
Yep, so we've made a move down the inside of Hulkenberg there. So the plan's worked out, you know, we save the tyres, let the boys in front of us fight, and now we're coming through.
Yep, definitely a good call. Meanwhile, we've got Charles Leclerc now, who is stuck behind Nico Hulkenberg. So he is in second place on merit behind Bottas. So he needs to clear these cars as much as he can so that he can create some clean air for himself to hunt down that Mercedes.
So he's not that far behind Valtteri, actually.
No, he's not, but he wants to...
Oh, heavy under braking. He got brake checked as Ricciardo locks up all 4 tyres.
I believe that... Sorry, that was Hulkenberg.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, Hulkenberg just struggled to get around that corner, and that could have compromised Charles Leclerc. It'll be interesting to see if he's got any damage from that. It was a bit of a brunt.
I think he just gave him a nose bonk. I'm not sure if there's too much damage there.
Yeah, you can get away with it sometimes. We'll have to wait and see. On board with Leclerc again. Maybe he's getting a bit restless now. Goes to the outside. This is not a bad idea because you get the inside line for the banking section.
Oh, they get
bit of
awfully close.
Yeah, a bit of side pod action going on, but Leclerc's made this stick. However, was that the right move? Because Hulkenberg will get the DRS on him, and I don't think he's close enough to get the DRS on you. We've got Hamilton behind Nico Hulkenberg, so he's going to try and sail past him and potentially do the 2-for-1. Oh, sorry, Charles Leclerc is behind. They're 3 abreast going into the hairpin. Lock up galores, but it looks like that Hamilton's made it work, and he's gotten ahead of Charles Leclerc.
Painful for Leclerc there. He didn't really think that one through.
No.
As we duck into the pits now, it's lap 13. Tyres are half done, so we'll get the hards on.
Yep, sounds like a fair call. But yeah, I think Leclerc just got a bit hot under the collar. He's now going to try and make a move on Hulkenberg while you're in the pits here. Look, almost shoving him out of the way, running him out of all the road there.
Peter's pushed him out of the racing line there, saying, mate, just get out of our way. You're not really in this conversation.
I don't know if he got a bad text message this morning or if he's just jumping beans, but he's a bit erratic today, Charles Leclerc.
He is a hot-headed Monegasque, isn't he? He wants to win. He wants to stamp himself as a genuine championship competitor.
Absolutely. He's also very harsh on himself, very critical of himself, so he'll know that any little error, he'll be aware of it and he'll be biting himself for it. And maybe that there's a bit of rage and fueling his driving here today.
Yeah, he might have some kind of inferiority complex. Like, he's very self-critical.
And we've reached the point of the commentary where we're now beginning to psychoanalyze the drivers based on their performance.
Well, he says, I am stupid, and stuff like that multiple times.
Yeah, He's a very harsh cookie on himself, but we're back on board with you.
So we just tucked up behind Ricardo post pit stop here. So we'll see if we can get into DRS zone with him and make a move on him.
Yeah, that seems fair, and Ricardo's got a bit of traffic in front of him as well. I mean, we're all racing for position, so it's not actually traffic. It'll be interesting here. You'll get the DRS.
Will we run wide there?
Yeah, it's a bit wide. You might get a warning from the stewards there to not do that again. The DRS is open.
We've turned up the engine.
Daniel Ricciardo's getting closer. Takes a slightly defensive line. You're going to have to do it, Danny Rick, yourself. Brake late and send it.
And we've kept it. Can we keep the rear end? Yes.
No, that was
from a long way back.
Yeah, no, you absolutely went for that one. It was needed as one of the cars in front of you, George Russell, goes into the pits. You've done very well to make that move stick, and now it's going to be about holding off Ricciardo as you try and move up this field and get some points.
So Raikkonen's next on the list then, the old rival from last week and the week before. He's always been amongst it.
Yeah,
love that.
Maybe he has a thing for you, mate. I'm not really sure.
I just think we're just both here to win, or not win, but collect as many points as possible.
Yep, that's fair. You wonder if there's a bit of respect amongst the two drivers as they've been jostling with each other over the courses of this season.
Well, it has been clean racing, hasn't it? As we have a yellow flag in front, so I wonder what that's for. Who is that?
I did not get to see that. Hopefully we'll get a replay there, but that car looks beached and that race must be done for them.
So let's put us up into 11th place as we get an update on Valtteri Bottas, our race leader.
Clean air, easy peasy. Yeah, Hamilton and Leclerc in the distance, but so far he's done very well for himself. It'll be about whether Hamilton can claw his way back, and what can Charles Leclerc do?
Mercedes 1-2 then.
Well,
for now.
Yeah, well, considering Ferrari had the 1-2 last time out in Bahrain, they'll be desperate to get this result. No wonder if they'll ask Hamilton to just hold Leclerc off. I'm not really sure what the times are looking at, but it could be an option for them.
So no back markers then, no nonsense.
But currently P11, Raikkonen is ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 1.6 seconds. They're on old hards. Ricciardo behind. Okay, the gap behind is 1.8
okay, so Raikkonen over a second in front. You can see him right in front of us there. He's next on the list to overtake, and then we're in the points if we can get past him.
Yeah, and his tyres are going to be slightly older than yours. I'm sure he pitted maybe 2 or 3 laps before you did, so it's probably a good opportunity to go and get him. See how you go into turn 1 here.
Geez, we're gaining a lot of time into turn 1 there. Let's see if we can capitalise.
Starting to wonder maybe the Alpha there is running a low downforce setup, which makes him struggle in the first sector. We'll see if there's an improvement in the gaps between you and Raikkonen.
We're in DRS zone now. Can we make a move on him?
So this is now down in sector 3 on the same lap. You're getting closer and closer to him, but not close enough to go for the old dive bomb.
Yeah, that would have been suicidal going for that dive bomb there. We just would have hit him in his side pod, and that's not what we want. We've had clean battles, Raikkonen and I, as Grosjean comes into the pits.
Jeez, if that's his first pit stop, that is a long stint by Romain Grosjean.
He's done well. He's made those medium tyres last. He might be a factor later on.
He could be. Still got plenty of racing to go here. You're still tucked in behind Kimi Raikkonen. That gap is definitely getting lower and lower though. And it looks like you may be able to have an opportunity on him later this lap as you go through turn 2, making it around, and then you have the slight kink, which is technically turn 3, as you get ready for the right-hander of turn 4.
Here we are then, on board with us, just trying to close down Raikkonen.
Don't see anyone else in front of you two, so he's got clean air. You're going to be stuck behind him in the dirty air, but you're getting closer to him. That gap is getting smaller, and it'll be interesting to see whether you can make this move coming into this lap, or if you need a bit more time.
Well, there's plenty of laps left in this race, isn't there? We're only about halfway through.
Yeah.
As we run slightly wide there, we're just going to try and keep in DRS zone as we are pulling away from Hulkenberg behind us.
Wonder if that Renault's going to come back, but they haven't really looked that on the pace. If anything, they've just been slowing people down, not only here in Shanghai, but over the course of the season. They've really struggled to enter into this midfield battle.
Renaults have been mostly just nuisances so far this season. It's very harsh, but it's true.
Shame to say, but the results stand for themselves. Going into this hairpin here, you're getting closer to Raikkonen, but it's not going to be this lap. It looks like you get a nice sweet exit.
I've been more impressed by the Toro Rossos and Pierre Gasly, Raikkonen in the Alpha.
Even the Racing Points have been very competitive this season, and Renault seems to be nowhere.
It's a long season. They might come back later on. Hulkenberg's currently 3 seconds behind us, so he's not a threat at the minute, as we get nice and close to Raikkonen in front. What I like about this circuit is that there's more than one line around turn 1 and 2, and it's very much up to the driver.
Yeah, very much up to the feel. You know, it can change lap by lap, especially in intermittent conditions.
Raikkonen ahead, they're on old hards. Their tyres are 10 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:38.6. You're gaining by 1/10.
So there you go, we just got radioed in that we are closing down on Raikkonen. He's only 0.4 in front. It should be less than that now. It looks about 0.2 now.
Well, the point is you're going to be close enough. You're going to have DRS, and you will definitely be able to have a run at the old Iceman here.
Nice pun there, mate.
Oh, well, you know, I do what I can.
Nice camera angles there. We should be in DRS zone, and we are closer than last time, so we might go for a move into the hairpin. Let's see.
Yeah, it will seem reasonable to have a go against Kimi. He hasn't got anyone in front of him to use DRS to defend against, so he could be a bit of a sitting duck here as you begin this long straight down to the hairpin.
We are much closer this time. We're already right behind him.
We're gaining. What are you going to do? Down the inside, nice and safe. Brakes.
Get the car slowed down. Get that car slowed down. Raikkonen's gone underneath us now. When he gets a spot back.
I think he just outbraked himself a little bit there, just maybe a bit too greedy. And as a result, Kimi lives to fight another day.
Here's a replay then.
He didn't lock up, I think. Yeah, I think he just outbraked himself, unfortunately. And Raikkonen, I think he was happy to let you by, but he'll hold you up if he can.
That's experience, really. This is his, 15th year in Formula 1 or something like that? Something crazy?
I actually don't know, but it's definitely up there. Yeah. And all that experience does come in handy, regardless of what car you're driving here in Formula 1.
Yeah, he knows where to brake on those hard braking points. I just slightly broke too late.
Yeah, and that's most likely just experience. He probably just assumed that you would be eager beaver going into that hairpin, so he thought, I'll take this one nice and easy and see what he does and then react.
It was a bit of a Mexican bullfight, really, like holding out the red flag. Come through, young buck, and here we are again. We're not quite close enough.
It looks like Kimi's going to be a bit of a pain for you in these last 8 laps of this Grand Prix. Really struggling to get past him and make that move stick. It must be hard since Kimi's got the superior power unit of that Ferrari engine.
It's frustrating because he's not really holding me up, but I could get past him. Here we go. We try left and right. We're shake and bake. We're going to go down the inside of turn 1.
Runs
and once again, he's got the grip on us. We're side by side into turn 2. Who will get there first? We're crawling into turn 2. There's not much grip around here.
No. And he shut the door on you there. Just pounced out a little bit in front, shuts the door. Nope, sorry mate, you're going to have to do better than that.
You can see the frustration. That's twice now I could have been past him. But just the experience of Raikkonen.
Well, you're starting to wonder if he's got your number. Has he got the measure here?
It's a very psychological experience, actually. Like, can I pass this man? Yep. I've tried twice at 2 different corners. Yep. What's going to happen next?
Yep. Well, he's doing everything he can just to hang on to that 8th place. I mean, yep, it's great you're in the points. Great recovery drive from P13. But obviously you want more and you want to do the best you can. And let's see how you go as you get on the banking and prepare for this straight once again.
So it's all about having a clean exit out of this banking corner. Plant that right foot down. Turn the engine up. We're not that close this time around, but DRS will help. We're approaching.
Oh, you're very close here now. It's now or never. And he's braking, and he's taken the tightest inside line possible. He's made a move. Oh no! He's lost the rear.
We've got an greedy on the throttle out of that corner. Oh no! Can we get past the barrier? Oh, we've caused a yellow flag. Oh no, we're in 10th place. Hulkenberg's got past us.
That's absolute pandemonium. I cannot believe it. Dropping the rear there, and you didn't seem to outbrake yourself. You were just too eager to get onto the power.
We've lost 10 seconds through that spin there. We've dropped it.
Oh no.
Let's have a replay.
Yeah, it was a very tight inside line. It was always going to be
He
hard.
opens up the door. He says, "Come through, son."
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there was a bit of contact, but having a look at that once again, yeah, you just lost that rear end.
That's pretty close as well. That could have been worse if I had to reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, something we didn't expect. The young driver, he's been very competent, very confident in these opening races, but you did say earlier that Shanghai was not your greatest, and I think you're feeling the pressure here.
And now we've got to worry about Kevin Magnussen behind us on the medium tyres. He's only 4 seconds adrift.
Yeah.
And there's 6 laps to go.
Yeah.
And I've cooked those hard tyres, turned the car around after I spun.
Yeah, I think 10th place is going to be the best result you can get. Meanwhile, we're coming around here and having a look at the fight between the two Mercedes drivers and Charles Leclerc. He's hung it in there, and he's still on for a chance at a second place or even a win.
And Hamilton hasn't won a Grand Prix yet this year.
No.
Yeah, it's only been Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc who have won.
Yep,
So Hamilton's on here. He wants the win.
He needs the win if he's going to maintain a proper title defense. Hasn't been able to get past Bottas so far. Has to worry about Leclerc at the same time. He is in the middle of a silver and red sandwich.
Yeah, there's no real analogy for a silver and red sandwich, is there?
No, I mean, I was searching the archives, and unfortunately, I couldn't come up with the goods. I don't know what it is.
It's not like a bar sandwich. Back in the day when we had BAR.
Yeah.
That worked perfectly.
Yeah. Shame on you, BAR, for not being in Formula 1 anymore. Anyway, we've got to get back to the action. Hamilton's activated the DRS. I'm assuming Leclerc will as well.
Oh, he's gone right and left. He's gone shaking back. He's faked the inside. It was swoop around the outside. Can he make it work?
There.
He's done it.
He's done it.
That is a brilliant move. Hats off to you, Lewis Hamilton.
Full commitment there from the world champion. Had to be made. The old right-left dummy has made it work. Valtteri Bottas now has Charles Leclerc to deal with. Will Bottas come back? We'll have to check in later.
Wow, that was a brilliant move. I haven't seen a better move since Albert Park when Carlos Sainz went up the inside of Raikkonen.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
That's probably the best move of the season so far, considering he had Leclerc to contend with as well, who was a bit more cautious on that. Maybe he was expecting the two cars to come together.
So lap 23 then, let's see how far Magnussen is behind us. And are we catching Hulkenberg? No, we're not.
No, we definitely aren't. And Magnussen now is less than 2.5 seconds behind you. He's going to be coming up to you in these closing laps of this race. And I think right now that's got to be your target. Be as clean and consistent as possible. And when Magnussen comes, defend for the fight of your life.
And there he is. So we're fighting for the last points paying position in 10th place. Can we keep him behind? We have 3 laps to go.
Yeah. And Haas will be desperate to get this point. K-Mag will be desperate to get this point. The gap is less than a second. We're now on board with Kevin Magnussen. And we'll see how he goes through the first 2 corners.
Oh, he's got so much more grip with those medium compound tyres that haven't been burnt out. Oh, and I'm locked up. I can see him in my mirrors. There's a lot of pressure.
Oh, no.
It's a bit of a theme, actually. Last week, I was kind of cracking under the pressure of, I think it was...
I believe it was Raikkonen.
I think it was Raikkonen at Bahrain. And now we've got K-Mag swooping around the outside.
Oh.
Are we going to run him out of road? Yes, we do.
No, you just took a very tight inside line there to keep that position, but you're really going to have to worry about Kevin Magnussen. He seems like a man possessed at the minute, trying to get this last point available here in China.
This is not good. We have 3 laps left and he's already right behind us.
Yeah, the strategy seems to have worked well.
I'm sliding around everywhere. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so we're going to have a look and see how he goes as they're getting ready to start the final sector. Smart boy Kevin Magnussen doesn't need to make a move right now. He's going to get a much better entry. James runs a bit wide.
We took the wide entry, got the exit, and we cut him off at the same time.
Yep.
Compromising Kevin Magnussen's entry and enhancing ours.
And now, although that's something that K-Mag would do, he would probably complain that was a bit dirty, that was a bit dangerous. Anyway, he's got the DRS on you. You're going very defensive into this hairpin.
There's no way through there, K-Mag.
No. And thankfully, we don't lose the rear end as we did previously. That's something to be concerned about now.
We have learnt our lesson. Oh, but we do run wide. The pressure is coming on. Reminiscent of Q1.
Oh, no. But I don't think he gained much time out of that one, and K-Mag will come back at you. He's not as close as I expected him to be. He's got the DRS. but he'll obviously make some time on you here going into these opening corners in the next lap.
I'm very vulnerable in the turn 1 and 2 and the long corners around the circuit, but luckily it's hard to pass around there.
Do you think K-Mag likes him vulnerable like Daniel Ricciardo?
I think he does.
I'm sure he does.
He's very close this time around. He's already side by side with us. He's
on the
getting
outside, touches the grass, has to go around the outside.
No! Sorry, buddy. I want this point badly. I did not come all the way to China for no reason.
Wow.
I want that point.
You didn't just come here for dumplings, unfortunately for K-Mag.
Yeah, points are hard to come by, especially in the midfield, and you know, whenever there's points on the table, you just got to fight for your life.
See, this is the thing about good drivers. They have their circuits that they're brilliant at, but even when they're not brilliant at a specific circuit, such as yourself here with China, you got to do everything you can to get the best result possible.
We are heavily defensive, and we'll try and run wide on the exit again, and we get a decent drive, but the tyres are fading away. Swooping camera angle there. We have Pierre Gasly as well.
Yeah, both the Toro Rossos, and then it even looks like Romain Grosjean behind them. Is this going to be a party for the final points paying position? Going ultra defensive again. K-Mag harvesting some energy going into this straight. What's he going to do? He's going to have a look on the inside.
Oh, jeez, he's poking around, isn't he?
No, he might have been better off to go around the outside there against you. However, he's not that comfortable, it seems. You run wide again on the final corner.
I've absolutely lost my marbles here.
Oh no.
I'm getting on the marbles on the outside lane.
Yeah, thankfully he hasn't dropped the rear end as you're on those marbles. Going around the outside of turn 1 on this final lap of this Chinese Grand Prix.
He's got the grip, but I've got the apex.
Yeah.
Which one would you take?
I think when you're defending, you got to take the apex, surely. And you've held him off so far. It's all going to come down to the final corners of this race. Unless K-Mag can do something about it here. He likes the outside of turn 4.
He brakes very late. He locks up, and we take the racing line, and we give him a bump.
Oh, wow. And now you've thrown Pierre Gasly into the mix. Or is that Kvyat?
Oh, that is a big impact, and we've damaged his front wing as well. That's what you get, brother.
Oh, wow. I wonder if the stewards are going to have a look at that one. There could be some last lap drama here to change the order. Meanwhile, the Toro Rosso and K-Mag getting very comfortable. Hand gets thrown up in the air. I still can't confirm if that's Kvyat or Gasly. Meanwhile,
checking in with the front runners here.
And Hamilton so far has held off this lead. I don't know if but look at this. They're side by side. They're going to be going into the last corner. Is Valtteri Bottas going to steal this from Lewis Hamilton?
He's going to pip him on the last corner.
He's done it. He's done it. Or has he not? We're looking. It is a finish. And Valtteri Bottas clinches the win.
Multi-21, Seb. Multi-21.
No such thing.
Hamilton's going to be furious. He's yet to win a Grand Prix in 2019. I mean 2020. I don't know.
To be pipped on the last corner of pure drag race. Charles
That's
Leclerc.
gonna hurt.
Yeah, Hamilton will be having some words with Toto Wolff.
That's first to third, covered by 0.3 seconds.
Yeah,
maximum.
Yeah,
maximum.
Yeah, reminds me of some of the Melbourne Cup finishes that we've had in recent years. Just
we go ultra defensive here, but I think we have the gap.
I think so, and that's probably because Kvyat's under pressure by K-Mag, who obviously Kvyat getting in front of him. They're squabbling amongst themselves. That's giving you the breathing space. Now, as long as you don't run wide on this last lap, and you just take it in nice and comfortable.
There we go. Clip the apex.
He's done it. He's done it. He can tell. He can sense it now, and he's managed to snatch that last point.
10th place there. Happy with that at a bogey circuit for us. So we've come away with a point. Happy with that. As Mercedes pick up a victory here through Valtteri Bottas again.
Wow, incredible. I can't believe that that's the finish we had. Charles Leclerc gets another podium. Lewis Hamilton's clapping on the inside.
I'm surprised about that.
Yeah, I don't think he would be.
And Leclerc third as well. Wow, what a race that was.
Absolute carnage. Having a look here, we see Carlos Sainz picking up P6 from McLaren, followed by Albon, Hulkenberg, Raikkonen, yourself getting that last point. Very valuable. Could be crucial. What's interesting for you guys is no points for the Racing Point drivers, which is amazing for the constructors' battle between McLaren and Racing Point, as they had pipped you after Bahrain.
Given their pace as well, I'm surprised about that.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Here's the driver's standings, and I'm 6th place, and around us we have Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, 2 points behind us.
Charles Leclerc maintains the lead of the championship. And yes, you can see there McLaren have pipped Racing Point since they didn't pick up any points.
So then, that was an eventful Grand Prix, but I'm happy with that. We took the point, and Carlos Sainz had a great race.
Yeah, he really
Hats off
did.
to him.
He really did.
He came 6th.
He did. He did finish in P6, which was good for him. I think overall a good result for McLaren and for you guys. That was intense. I don't know what else to say, frankly. There was just absolute carnage everywhere.
It is justice because Carlos Sainz had to retire from Bahrain.
Yep.
So he missed out on points there.
Yep.
So I'm happy he's got some points this time around.
Yep.
We hope you're here for next week. We have Azerbaijan.
Well done, Baku. I cannot wait to see what happens in that hot mess of a track.
See you guys. Thanks very much.
Ciao.